Welcome back to the Spirits, Mind and Soul podcast. Today I'm speaking with Rina, who tells me about her struggles during lockdown and about how she used that opportunity to find her purpose and passion in life. This was a great conversation. Rina was great to chat with, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please hit that like button. I'd love it if you could subscribe, and you'll be notified when the next episode comes out. So we're just going to go right into it, really. So I know that you were, for a long time, you were doing your Reiki healing and you were a massage therapist. Can you tell me a bit about life then? And, how was that for you? Obviously, you must have loved it if you did it for such a long time. Can you tell me about that and the lead
Yeah,
up to lockdown?
leading up to lockdown. Yeah, I loved being a massage therapist, and I had my practice for almost 20 years. So I had most of my clients became like family. The
Mm,
reason I decided to retire was because after 20 years, multiple injuries, I'm not someone that's really easy on my body. It was time to leave, and there was just something missing. I didn't feel like I was affecting enough people on the level that I wanted to. Just working one
mm-hmm.
on one with, your massage clients, it becomes you're a little you don't talk to a lot of people. It's just you in a
Yeah.
room all day, unless I was doing the Reiki healings, which I really, really loved. But I knew that it was time for something different.
Mm-hmm.
And the pandemic and my retirement kind of coincided. I was going to close my practice on April 1st. The pandemic hit in March. And my plan B was in the area of hospitality. So all the rugs got, just pulled
Yeah.
out from underneath me. And
Mm-hmm.
it was challenging. It was really hard. Just already dealing with changing identities from a massage therapist to
Mm-hmm.
the next place I was going, I was confronted with that question a lot. Well, what are you going to do? Who are you going to be? You're the massage therapist. And I don't know how many of us realize that when we are identified with what we do instead of who we are, that
Mm-hmm.
shift is massive. And then to go into the pandemic and not be really anything was also very disconcerting. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so the career path that you were going to go into hospitality, like you say, that was then, lockdown happened, everything was shut down. So do you feel there was a lot of reevaluating and, I guess digging deep on what it was you truly wanted? And how did it change from not wanting to do hospitality to what you're doing now?
It was really challenging because I had to really go inward. And
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that I wanted to make a difference. My whole mission is to
Mm-hmm.
touch as many lives as I possibly can. I just want to help people have what they want. And, the hospitality was my in between for revenue's sake, just to be honest. Like I
Yeah,
like hospitality and in my world it's really easy, fast money. And you meet a lot of people. So
yeah.
me, people light me up. Um, and not having that and then trying to figure out one, how honestly, how am I going to live? How am I going to survive financially?
Mm-hmm.
And what am I going to do to continue on my mission of being able to help other people, and where do I go? And I was really lucky that at that time I was a part of a networking organization, and one of the ladies in that organization was a life coach, and we hit it off. We started talking, and um, a little bit about me. I single mom, had my daughter young, and was always in the work, was always in the self work and really digging deeper to peel away all my layers and be my most authentic self, because
Mm-hmm.
you get lost along the way listening to other people and
Yeah.
being told who you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do. And so having that moment of I have no more, no identity, so to speak, because there was no work,
Yeah.
and wanting to contribute was really hard. And she proposed a question to me. She's like, "Why aren't you doing what I do? Is this something that you want to do?" And I started crying. I really started crying because I was just like, I really don't know. And so I sat with that, and her and I got on a call about like 2 weeks later just to check in. And I started thinking about my path when I had my business, and I
Mm-hmm.
was a small business owner, and I built my business off of referrals and getting to be in the community and talking to people. And I had to think about what really lit me up. Like, what was my favorite thing about that? And it was meeting other new business owners that didn't know how to connect with other people. And I really enjoyed being a connector. So I thought about that. And then I thought about my work as a Reiki practitioner and as a healer, and how much I love working with women and helping women find their voice and really be okay and unapologetically themselves, which is something
Mm-hmm.
we really haven't felt like we have permission to do. So I went into life coaching. I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to help other women have what they want and
Mm-hmm.
not feel bad about just being who they want to be. So I did
Yeah.
the thing, and I got my certification, and I took the courses, and I got into coaching, and what I realized was that I really like being a business coach. But I was so fortunate along the way to have so many cheerleaders in my corner that I didn't know I had. And during those really dark days, and we're in lockdown, like you're
Yeah.
home, you're not really doing anything. Um, I did have another really great, amazing friend of mine. She needed help in her business. So she brought me along. So that cured the whole financial worry. I was fortunate enough to be making some money on the side, and that helped me through
Mm-hmm.
my journey. But it was leaning on other people that saw something in me that I wasn't in that moment able to see, and having them plant the seed for me to actually just look at it and nurture it, and
Mm-hmm.
just really get in touch with me and who I was, and touch into my sadness, touch into the loneliness, and really understand where that was coming from. And then knowing that I have a choice. I get to decide what I do with that. Do I just sit down and be the victim, or do I get up and choose to be the victor? And I
Mm-hmm.
chose that, and I just went for it, and I went for it, and I stayed in my passion and in my soul's purpose of, just this was a new avenue for me to touch other people's lives and help them,
Mm-hmm.
give them tools to be who
Yeah.
and what they want to be. And it was very liberating. It doesn't mean it's been easy, but it's to live and do something that makes my heart so happy. It's changed everything. It changes the
Mm-hmm.
perspective of life, and when those challenges happen, it changes the way I look at them. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. So what is the
Yeah.
gift within this? Where is like where's the cherry on top, even though it feels like I'm swimming in the mud?
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that. During I was actually at university during lockdown studying business, and quickly realised that didn't want to work in the corporate world when I graduated, and I still had a year to go. Yeah, so I feel like lockdown gave us all a chance to reevaluate, and like you say, things are happening for you, not to you, and we really, I think that was a time to put that to good use. I know I had to go inwards as well. I don't know about you, but a lot of stuff came up for me. I'd worked on the mindset stuff, and it's interesting to hear what you went through because you were healing. You were, your Reiki healing. You were helping other people, whereas I'd worked on the mindset stuff during, in the lead up to lockdown, and during lockdown, it was I had to do the inner work. There was a lot that came up. Did you find that as well, or did your spirituality help you through that?
A lot came up, and I'm grateful for my spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a student of Michael Beckwith and Lisa Nichols and the Les Browns of the world, and the Brene Brown, all of them. So
Mm-hmm.
I went back to services, like just listening to things that used to light me up in my dark times. And one of my favorite um, messages was "Bless the Mess." And I listened to that on repeat because what I've learned is, in the messiest times of our lives are where the biggest blessings come from, because
Mm-hmm.
we're meant to break. We are meant to break down. And the reason we break is to release what no longer serves us. And those, whether it's an old idea of who we were or thoughts of, just whatever it is, whatever is hurting us that we hold on to. So
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of blessing the mess and I did
Mm-hmm.
a lot of crying and I did a lot of just being in my space alone. And um, I've never been someone that really enjoys talking about my pain. I'm one of those people, and I'm sure there's others out there that I don't want to talk about it. I want to heal silently. And what I learned is healing silently can be extremely painful.
Mm-hmm.
So I started talking a little more, and I started really reaching out to people that I knew could just listen and didn't necessarily need to give me advice. But there was a lot of things that happened during lockdown. I lost two very important people in my life. And, when you lose people that are important to you, life changes. You reevaluate
Mm-hmm.
things. So having the continuous slaps in the face, so to speak, but in a
Mm-hmm.
way to like, why is this happening? What am I supposed to be learning? How am I supposed to grow from these moments? Was what I really got into. And I did a lot of reading and I did a lot of dancing in my living room all by myself because what I learned was movement makes me happy. I love music. And
Mm-hmm.
in order to get over those really horrible moments where I would just be sitting on my couch looking at nothing, I would turn on my music and I would just dance. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how long was that period from, obviously going into lockdown, you could no longer do your Reiki and massage, which you were coming out of anyway. And what was that sort of in between period before you started life coaching?
it was, you know, I'm, I will say did not take that long. It felt like an eternity
Mm-hmm.
at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
it was just a matter of months. The minute I made the decision, so I'm a little spontaneous when it comes to decisions. If I make the decision, I just
Yeah.
got to go and do it, otherwise it won't happen.
Mm-hmm. Me
So
too.
I was in it and out of it and started my practice that October.
Wow. Wow. So I mean
So I
that is
want
still it's long enough. It's a good time to I guess figure things out. But yeah, that I mean that's amazing. And how so did you already have your clientele from your, did you feel that they came with you? Your clients
uh,
from your Reiki
you
healing?
know what? It was interesting. I had one of my Reiki clients did come and I was her life coach. I had another client that referred somebody to me during that time that was going through a really hard time. My
Mm-hmm.
business took off because of referrals. Again, I was in a networking group prior to that for my business. And then when I made the switch, I was fortunate enough that they didn't have a, a business coach in there. So I was able to take that role and I did the life coaching. What I found with the life coaching is that when people would come to me for the life coaching, they ended up doing the business coaching. But
Mm-hmm.
it was more just because I had been networking for over 20 years. People already trusted me, even though it
Mm-hmm.
was completely different work. I was very, very fortunate that I had that trust and I had built that rapport, and people knew that she did her business on her own. She's got to know something.
Yeah. Yeah. And who are the women that you work with? What are they in a particular industry? Do you feel they're very similar to you?
There's a similar hunger and a similar desire to make it work, and they know they have something special, but they don't know how. And
Mm-hmm.
I do find that I attract a lot of open people, people that are open to listening and they do value where I've come from. I'm very systematic and I'm very much like, let's just take some baby steps. Where are we headed? What are we wanting? And that nothing has to happen overnight. The journey is about moving the needle and just keeping it moving. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I did have quite a few referrals, and now I just find that women gravitate me because of our energies, because there's a comfortability, and then there's that trust, and then the rest comes into play. But the initial is really we vibe off of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you bring in the spiritual aspects into your coaching? I guess I'm talking manifestation, that type of thing. Does that play a part in the coaching that you do as well?
I definitely, you will, my clients hear me say often, where energy goes, where focus goes,
Mm,
energy flows. So what are we
yeah.
focusing on? What are you looking at your goals every day? And I listen, and I don't listen just to hear. I listen to feel. I watch to listen. Body language is so important. The way the words are delivered, the hesitation. So having
Mm,
that background has helped a lot because I do interrupt my clients a lot because I interrupt them in the important moments of, oh, don't wait, did you catch that? Did you hear how that was delivered and how your body changed when you said it? Like, these are the
mm,
things that we don't pay attention to. And when you're working with someone else, it's really great for them to be like, oh, your light just kind of dimmed. How do we turn
yeah.
the light back on?
Hmm.
So that it
Yeah.
definitely, I'm very grateful for my gifts, and I
Yeah.
know that my clients get to, receive some of that when they work with me.
So what does the future hold for your business then? How far do you want to take this and what do you want to do next?
I would, when I spoke with you, for me, there's, I want, if I would love to empower others to stay in their belief, to stay in their belief and their knowing. We can believe something, but when you know it, you don't give up until
Mm-hmm.
you get it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
really working with people to see their genius. And
Yeah.
when times get rough and life happens, to know that your genius doesn't disappear. This is a moment
Mm-hmm.
for you to grow in your genius, for you to,
Mm-hmm.
get back up and dust yourself off and continue to go and grow. And for me, I have no problem failing forward. What I've learned is when I fall, I grow even more and I come back even harder. So I would like to, at some point, be able to share my story and my journey with others, not because I think that I'm some greatness, but to remind other people that they have it in them too. I
Yeah.
didn't, I didn't come from anywhere special. I didn't, and I didn't have an easy life. We all have our challenges, and to us, they are the biggest thing in that moment. It doesn't matter what anybody else is
Mm-hmm.
going through, and to be able to give other people hope through an avenue of sharing a story and just sharing the belief that everything and anything is possible if you just put your
Mm-hmm.
mind to it. And yes, manifestation is great, but manifestation only works if you're in movement. So you can sit here and say, I want this and I am this and I have that. But unless you're in
Yeah.
movement heading towards that manifestation and the acts that get you there and becoming the
Yeah.
person that you need to become to have that, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about something for you then? Obviously, you did the work during lockdown. You had to go deep, and then everything after that, I guess, was about the work that you're doing now. But what about just for you? Is something that you're longing for your future?
For my future, I would like to have the relationship that I want. I've never been married and I would like to grow old with someone. I'm a mom. I don't need to have any more kids. But
Mm-hmm.
but I would like to be in a place where I am always of service and have the financial freedom and liberty to be able to give back. I would love to educate youth and instill that they can do anything. It
Mm-hmm.
is so important when somebody believes in you at an early age, and I was very lucky to have that in my life. I had different people at all points in my life that there was always somebody that believed in me and reminded me that just go do it, Miha. You got it. Just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to be in a loving relationship, be in a comfortable space where I can give back to the masses is really what I want. I want to give
Mm-hmm.
back.
And what you said there as well, like it's, I feel so strongly about, beliefs and believing in yourself, but it's easier said than done. And you obviously had people that did believe in you, but not everyone has that. Do you find that with clients as well? Because that is the one thing that really holds us back is our limiting beliefs. And sometimes we're
Absolutely.
not aware that we even have them. We just it's our belief, so we think it just is, not realizing it's just a block that we can overcome. Do you
Yeah,
find that?
I do, and I do an exercise with anybody, actually anybody that ever brings that up to me. There's a
Hmm.
exercise I share because I found it very powerful, and it's a self-talk exercise. I ask people take some time when you're not, when you don't know why you're feeling the way you're feeling, to just sit down and write all the things that you've heard, like I am this. We've all heard, oh, I am stupid, I'm lazy, and we don't pay attention to what we're saying. Like I found myself a lot during lockdown. I heard a lot of the things I was saying to myself that I didn't realize I was saying. I was
Hmm.
reaffirming bad habits because they were beliefs that other people had told me, and then I just kind of picked up and took them on. Like
Yeah.
even when we tell ourselves, "Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid." No, we're not so stupid. You might have done something not great in that moment, but taking the time to actually write down all of those things and looking at it and then being able to empower yourself to cross out what's not true.
Hmm.
Is that my truth?
Yeah.
No. Is that my truth?
Hmm.
No. And taking it that step further and write down what your truth is next to it and
Hmm.
keep that so that when you're having those moments, you can look back and be like, no, that's an old story. That's not
Yeah.
what I believe, and that's not who I am. And just
Yeah.
really, yeah, it's because we all have it. We have those moments. We all have a tendency to beat ourselves up because we live
Hmm.
in a society that beats everybody up. Everybody's
Hmm.
so easy to judge these
Hmm.
days.
Yeah. I say that all the time. We live in a society that doesn't nourish our dreams and goals. And we're constantly absorbing everything in which you're taking on, like you say, other people's beliefs. You're taking them on as your own. And then we sort of downplay our capabilities and possibilities as well. So yeah, it's something I feel really strongly about is about people believing in what's possible for them. So how can people get in touch with you then if they feel that call to come to you, Rena?
Well, the name of my business is Tiny But Mighty Coaching. So, Tiny But Mighty Coaching, you can find me there. I'm on Instagram. I do a lot of inspirational TikToks. That's how I give back. I have a thought of the day every
Yeah.
day, and I just like to inspire people. But yeah, you can find me at tinybutmightycoaching.com, or you can find me on Instagram, same hashtag, tiny but, or you know the thing.
Yeah. I'll leave it all below anyway for anyone to contact you. Yeah.
Um, but yes, and I offer discovery calls for someone that's not
Hmm.
sure if they're looking for a life coach or a business coach, but they just know they need to talk to somebody. That
Yeah.
is that is how I am able to give back. I do offer a 20
Hmm.
minute call with somebody that's looking for guidance and,
Yeah.
just a couple of answers or some clues. It's what
Hmm.
I like to do. Again, that's how I can give back. That's how I give back.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know there was so much value in there that people can take from for moving forward. Is there anything else that you want to add for anyone out there who might be going through any struggles, that you felt yourself during lockdown?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing is to acknowledge where you're feeling, what you're feeling. Everyone tells you to like get
Hmm.
over it, like just forget about it, and that's the
Yeah.
last thing you need to do. Sit in
Hmm.
it, feel it, understand it, know where it's coming from. Be able to say, I hurt. My heart hurts, or, I'm sad or I'm disappointed, but understanding what that emotion is that you're feeling and validating it, that your feelings are valid. There's
Hmm.
nothing silly about feeling the way you feel. And the second thing is, don't stay there. Acknowledge the feeling, know where it's coming from, and give yourself an opportunity to move through it and then move past it. It's not, we don't get over everything, because if you get over it, you're not over it. It's still there. It's under there. But if you get
Hmm.
through it, and you process it and you give yourself that opportunity to really understand what it is and where it's coming from, that's where the growth happens. That's where you give yourself permission to say, I'm human, and this
Yeah.
is what I'm going through, and now I'm going to choose how I'm going to deal with it so that I can grow from it. So
Yeah.
don't get over it, guys. Sit in it and then get through it.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed listening to our conversation today. If you do feel the call to get in touch with Rina, all details on how to do so are in the description box below. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed today's episode and subscribe, and you'll be notified when the next episode comes out.